Hello everyone and welcome back to Piano Teaching Tips with Hannah. So today we are going to look at method books. So that's a really big thing, isn't it? Method book. So when you first get a new student, you think, oh, what method book shall I use with this student? Or should I use a method book? Now, there are many schools of thought about whether to use method books or not, but I love them. Personally, I think they're wonderful. They each have their pros and their cons. If you use them alongside other material, you can't go wrong. I think they're fantastic to help the kids show progression, to see where they are in a book, especially if they're going through a series. They're also really good for teaching certain technical terms. And if you are a new teacher, they can be quite comforting. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm not really sure I've taught the right thing, or I'm not sure I'm on the right path, following particular method books can aid your teaching and help you become a better teacher. Now, I did say that I don't like them on their own. I do like to do rote pieces with students, new students. I do like to do technical exercises as well. I do like to use books like A Dozen a Day, which I have here, which is technical exercises for kids or adults. They've got real exercises like, well, actually rocking's not really exercise, swinging, climbing, that sort of thing. So they make you connect it to physical movements, which is really nice. I also like to use Junior Hanon quite early on as well with kids too, depending on their age and their ability. So yeah, I do like to mix. Let's go through 4 different method books that I like to use as a teacher. Now, the first one has to be John Thompson. So if you are in the UK, this is a very popular book. It has been used for years. I think I used it as a child. I know my brother definitely used this series as a child. It's been going forever, but they do always update it, which is nice. So you can see that it's a really colourful book. Basically, you follow these monsters and they take you on a journey and teach you different terms, different notes, and they're with you every step of the way, which is really lovely. Oh, stumbled on an interesting page here. You also have a load of other books in the series. Now, this isn't part of the course, you don't need these, but you can have like the first Christmas songs, first pop songs. They've got lots and lots of different material for students, which is wonderful. Lots of my students love this book. Lots of them do. There aren't any lyrics in here, which is something that I think's a bit disappointing because I think singing along is a really good way to help with rhythms and the tune, but they have really fun pieces. Ragtime Raggles, and that's a really nice tune. You also have an accompaniment for the teacher to play along with the child, which is again really nice. It makes them feel that they're being more professional because it sounds even better. And yeah, it's just a really nice, friendly book. So at the end of the first book, you won't be playing hands together, but you would have played a lot in both hands and feel nice and independent in both the right hand and the left hand. And at the start of the second book, that's when it starts to introduce quavers and hands together playing. So this is one of my favourites. I usually use the first 2. So I use John Thompson Part 1 and John Thompson Part 2. It does go up to 4. But I've never really used the other 2. I just think the first 2 are a really good sort of little method in themselves. The second book that I really like to use is Chester's Easiest Piano Course, and especially because now you have the special edition, and this includes extra material like sight reading and extra warm-ups as well, which is really nice. The book starts off with some wonderful little tunes, sausage in a pan, jelly on a plate, but there's lyrics there as well, so I can still sing it now. Jelly on a plate, wibble one. So that's a really nice course. If your student finds hands together playing a little bit challenging, this one moves at a slightly slower speed than John Thompson. So I find this one to be, sort of friendlier with the earlier beginner. And like the John Thompson, you follow a little colourful friend. This is Chester the Frog, and he takes you along the journey. It's all nicely coloured. Again, this has been updated fairly recently. It also introduces dynamics and it introduces different terminology as well. So that's quite nice. a bit more so actually than the John Thompson book does. So some of the work's been done for you, which is great. And the other course that I use occasionally is Alfred's Basic Piano course. Now this is for the really sort of young learner. This is the part A, the primer, first one, and this is the lesson book. Great to start with because there's lots of stuff by ear for the student, lots of things for them to do, but also they can feel that they're progressing as well, which is nice. So look, find a C. And when they introduce notes, they actually introduce just the fingers first before the stave. So it's actually going a step backwards. So it kind of introduces you to where the notes are sitting without introducing the stave to start with. So it's a bit more of a sort of step by step if someone's finding it harder to learn. It's very friendly. And I do use this one occasionally. The other one that I like to use is Michael Aaron's. Wonderful pieces in here as well. It is a real jam-packed book. So it does say grade 1. It gets you pretty advanced at the end. It teaches you in more of a chordal structure. So you start off with learning more with C major, the C position, and then moving to the dominant G major and the G position, and then F major. So it just goes, it's a bit more chordal in its approach, and it teaches you key signatures right from the get-go, which I really love actually. And it's a really friendly book. It also teaches you 6/8 as well. So you learn about quavers, quaver time signatures. And at the end, you've got the good old chopsticks at the end. And yeah, it's really lovely. It's also got load of musical terminology to learn, dynamics, lots of tempo markings. Yeah, it's quite an advanced book, and I think it advances pretty well, but at a nice speed. It's not horrible, and it's actually just laid out in a really gorgeous way. It's completely up to you which ones you love. There's other ones out there like Piano Adventures, which is really good, and they have Disney ones as well, pop songs, and there's Me and My Piano. I know Lang Lang's got a piano course. Now this isn't the definitive video about method books, but it just gives you an idea of where to start if you're a new teacher. To conclude, I think that method books are a really good thing to have with a new student alongside other materials, so alongside rote pieces, pieces by ear, technical books. I think they're really, really wonderful, and kids love them too. So let me know books that you enjoy. I am always on a mission to find out more about piano teaching and to get other people's ideas. So thank you.